weather again and lots of people outside. I guess it's because it's actually a long weekend here anyways. And what's going on today? How about this one? It's kind of interesting. There's usually a lot of little rules that dictate, for example, where you can and cannot fly a drone. But how about this one? This one says, drone pilot was trespassing at Cork's Stryker plant. Apparently this one went through like a court case and stuff like that too. This one says, a drone pilot from Waterford who intended to take aerial imagery of a major manufacturing plant in East Cork was trespassing, a court has found. Prosecuting Inspector Tony O'Sullivan told Middleton District Court that on August 16th last year, drone pilot Kieran Jones, aged 54, of 9 Deer Park, Conley Power, Waterford, that he would be flying his drone over the property and recording video footage. Security officer Gerald Murray said Mr. Jones came to his office near the reception area of the building and told him he would be gathering drone footage around the site. He said Mr. Jones did not ask for permission. Mr. Murray said there had been a fatal accident at the facility a few months previously which had led to unwanted media attention. He said that staff were particularly sensitive at the time and management had specifically told him that photography on the site was not permitted. Mr. Murray said Mr. Jones began recording him on the phone and he asked him to stop, and he also asked him to remove the footage, at which point Mr. Jones became more aggressive. It says Garda Lorraine Manning told the court that when she arrived at Stryker, Mr. Jones refused to tell her his name and address. She informed him he was trespassing and told him she would have to arrest him. Mr. Jones told the court that he was fully insured and was breaking no laws by flying the drone over the Stryker plant and would have operated it while standing on the public footpath. He said that he went into the building to inform the company of what he was doing. He added that he had informed Garda in Cobb the previous day of what he intended to do. Now, that's kind of interesting. So it's almost like one of those things where he understood the law per se, but he gave them, I guess, a courtesy notice that he would be flying the drone and so forth. It says, Mr. Jones said the purpose of the drone flight was to observe solar panels on the roof buildings and gather statistics for health and safety purposes. When asked by Inspector O'Sullivan if he could provide any evidence that he was counting solar panels, Mr. Jones said he could not. Judge Combe Roberts said that the court had found the facts proving that Mr. Jones did trespass in a manner likely to cause fear in another person. He said if he wanted to avoid causing a difficulty, the obvious thing to do would be to seek the permission of the property owner. There seems to be a certain obstinance here, a certain sense of entitlement. The judge said he was inclined to see if Mr. Jones could be dealt with by the way of supervision by the probation service and a fine, and adjourned the case until May 23rd. So it's kind of interesting with all that situation there. Who would you think is in the right or in the wrong ultimately? Because with that, it kind of implies he was, let's just say, standing outside in a public spot and flying over the area. I would gather in terms of the harassment though, it depends on how low he was actually, let's just say, flying the drone per se, or at the same time, if there actually was video evidence of who's yelling at who, like that type of thing. But yeah, it's been one of those things too, where there hasn't been a lot of case laws around things such as flying drones and so forth, since it's so broad in terms of the regulations and so forth. So it'll be interesting to see how that one turns out. And again, with that topic of drones, I don't know why there's been so many articles like this recently, where again, with the Olympics happening in Paris, what's with all these, I guess, doom and gloom articles on how they're not prepared to handle drones? It's almost like they want it to happen in some ways. It says here, fears Paris Olympics can't cope with the threat of hostile drone attack. France will struggle to prevent drones from disrupting this summer's Olympic Games, experts warned last night. More than 300,000 spectators are expected to line up along the banks of the River Seine in July as 10,000 athletes sail along on some 160 barges in the first ever opening ceremony not held inside a stadium. Last year, Interior Minister Gerald Damanin singled out drones as, quote, without the doubt, the main threat to be dealt with, and the threats are numerous. While France's national security alert is already at maximum level following an attack on a concert venue in Moscow in March, for which Islamic State claimed responsibility, memories of the 1972 terror attack on the Munich Games by the Palestinian Black September group are uppermost in organizers' mind. So too is the prospect of Russian or Iranian attacks using drone swarms, or even disruption from environmental groups. I would be inclined to say that's probably more likely in terms of protests in that sense anyways. With an estimated 3 million drones in civilian hands in France, President Emmanuel Macron authorized a military solution, and the French defense giant Thales was tasked with providing the parade counter drone system. Like it says here, despite the 300 million price tag, however, it can only detect only 1 in 3 drones and only within a range of 800 meters. But it also can't distinguish between unmanned hostile aircraft and air conditioning units. Can you imagine that? Actually, why would that be the case? Where these things would detect, let's just say, a quote, air conditioning unit. What would be the technical reason for that? Does anybody know? That's the first time I heard of that anyways. And it does say too, but its biggest problem is that it relies on jamming, the military solution used in battlescapes where the risk of collateral damage is minimal. Many solutions which work well in the military sphere aren't effective in a crowded stadium environment, said Jeffrey Starr, a defense solutions which specializes in counter-drone mitigation technology for major gatherings. Radars aren't effective because we are dealing with crowded skies from birds to cameras and even authorized drones, which will undoubtedly be used to capture images. Often in closed urban venues, you don't have line of sight and you cannot attempt to deny an approaching drone until it is too late. Well, at this rate, again, it seems like they're anticipating it is going to happen for whatever reason. I guess we'll have to wait and see, huh?
Chinese Communist Party has been attacking Hong Kong's freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And one of the recent news about Hong Kong is that they have banned a song called Now! All brothers! All fathers! All sisters! All brothers! All daughters! All sons! All brethren! All ladies!
All right, see you guys later.